Okay, so imagine your body is this massive, bustling factory. Its most important job? Pumping out red blood cells. But what happens when that production line starts churning out, well, duds?
First, let's take a little tour of the factory itself. This factory is your bone marrow, and its primary job is absolutely mind-boggling. It produces billions of red blood cells every single day. You can think of these cells as a massive fleet of tiny little delivery trucks, all built for one single purpose, carrying precious oxygen to every corner of your body. Now, here's the thing that's absolutely essential to get. The quality of these delivery trucks, it depends entirely on the cargo they're filled with, and that cargo is hemoglobin. This one protein makes up something like 97% of a red blood cell's entire weight. So when we talk about anemia, we're almost always, in some way, talking about a hemoglobin problem. It's the whole point of the truck.
So how do we make this stuff? Well, what's cool is you can boil this super complex process down to a simple factory workflow. For hemoglobin production to work, you need three key things. First, the right raw materials, and iron is the absolute VIP here. Second, you need a perfect set of blueprints. Those are your globin genes. And finally, you need the machinery to actually put it all together, combining the iron-containing part, heme, with the protein part, globin. If any one of these steps fails, the whole assembly line grinds to a halt.
Okay, so that's how it's supposed to run in a perfect world. But now, let's get into what happens when this factory starts to malfunction, leading us to this thing called microcytic anemia.
Anemia, just in general, is really a production slowdown. From a clinical standpoint, it's defined by these specific hemoglobin levels you see here. If a guy's hemoglobin drops below 13 or a woman's below 12, they're considered anemic. The factory just isn't meeting its quota. And this number is what tells us the type of problem. This is the micro in microcytic. It means not only is there less hemoglobin, but the red blood cells themselves, the delivery trucks, are literally too small. This is measured by something called the mean corpuscular volume, or MCV. Anything below 80 femtoliters, and you know the factory is producing miniature, inefficient trucks. And just for scale, a femtoliter is 1/quadrillionth of a liter. I mean, it's an unbelievably tiny measurement, but it tells us so much.
So what's causing this miniaturization? Well, the most common reason, by a long shot, is a classic supply chain problem. You guessed it, a shortage of that critical raw material, iron.
So why would a factory run out of iron? Well, there are pretty much four main ways this can happen. First, maybe you're just not getting enough deliveries in your diet. Or maybe your loading dock, your gut, can't unload the supplies properly because of something like celiac disease. Another big one is that the factory might be leaking supplies, through some kind of slow, chronic bleeding. And finally, production demand can just go through the roof, like during pregnancy, completely outstripping your inventory.
But what if the supply chain is totally fine? What if the trucks are full of iron and arriving on time every day? Well, then the problem has to be deeper, somewhere in the factory's core operations. And this brings us to two other major causes: problems with the genetic blueprints or with the cellular machinery.
So here the breakdown is happening right on the factory floor. With thalassemia, it's like the architectural blueprints for the globin part are flawed from the very beginning. It's a design issue. But with sideroblastic anemia, the blueprints are perfect, but the actual factory machines, the enzymes, they're broken. They can't properly install the iron into the heme component. With all these different ways the factory can fail, how in the world do doctors figure out what's actually gone wrong? This is where they put on their detective hats and break out a very specific diagnostic toolkit.
Now this part, I think, is just fascinating. It shows you the clever detective work that's involved. So, in a straightforward iron deficiency, the available iron is low, the iron warehouses, that's ferritin, are empty, and so the body ramps up its transport capacity, the TIBC, desperately trying to find more iron. Makes sense, right? But now look at anemia of chronic disease. This is where it gets counterintuitive. The body thinks it's under attack from inflammation, so it panics and actually hoards its iron. It locks the iron away in storage, which is why ferritin is high, and it shuts down the transport system. It's trying to keep this vital resource away from invaders, but in doing so, it starves its own production line.
And this is exactly why getting the diagnosis right is so critical, because the solution has to match the problem. You don't fix faulty machinery by just ordering more raw materials, right? A supply chain issue needs restocking, iron supplements, but a blueprint problem like thalassemia might need a completely different and far more complex fix.
So we've seen the factory, we've seen the product, and we've seen all the different ways that production can go sideways, from supply shortages to broken machines. But really, the crucial point is that understanding how the factory breaks tells us exactly how to get it running again. And it's a good reminder that for our own bodies, keeping that production line humming along often comes down to something really simple: just making sure the supply chain never runs dry.